Hi everyone, my name is Jen. I'm here at Inspired by Purpose, and today we're going to be doing some trigger point release for the shoulders. I've got a few different tools here. You're welcome to use whatever you have at home. First is just a basic tennis ball. You can use a tennis ball, a lacrosse ball, whatever else you may have. If you have maybe tune-up balls or something like that, of course that's what they're designed for, so they work. We also I have here a foam roller. There are many types and varieties of foam roller, so whatever roller you have at home will work. And if you don't have a foam roller, stick with a tennis ball or whatever else you have in your space. Lastly, this is actually a trigger point tool, but I thought I would bring it out in case you have something like this at home. It's pretty basic. We've got this handle here, and then this is where you would do your massage work or your trigger point release. If you have a different type, it'll work just the same. Sometimes there are more than one sort of extensions to get into your trigger points. You would just use it on your body and then massage it like that. So if you have one, you might like to have it handy. If not, no worries. You can use tennis ball, foam roller, or whatever else you have. Now, as we're working through the shoulders, I'll just go over briefly the areas that we're gonna work through. The outer arm, this is our deltoid. We're also gonna work through the front here, through the pectorals and the connection points between the chest and the shoulder. Then we have the armpit area and back here around the shoulder blade and really between the shoulder blade and the spine. Now, when we're foam rolling, we don't really want to roll over bones. We're really just trying to get the muscles. So you can go into the connection points where the muscle and bone come together. That's a great place to work, but not really over the bone itself. The other thing that you want to think about when you're doing your trigger point release is that where you find a spot, a knot, or a tight spot that's kind of giving you a lot of sensation, sometimes it almost kind of takes our breath away. You don't want to necessarily move away from that spot. You want to find those points, try to breathe deeply into them, and then you keep moving and look for another spot like that. So basically, we're just looking for those knots, we're looking for those tight points, we're looking for the areas that need to be released, and sometimes they can trigger a lot of sensation, even something that goes toward pain. So where you get that, try not to run away from it, stick with it, breathe, take a few breaths, and then move on, okay? So we're gonna start with the outer arm on the deltoid. And to get that, we're gonna bring our tool, whether it's a foam roller or a ball, onto the ground. And then you wanna kind of aim for maybe this area, just right around there, being on the edge of the roller or on your ball, depending on what you have today. Then once you have it, I like to have my elbow bent, and notice my elbow is tucked into my side body here. And then I'm just gonna move up and down, just like that. Now, if you've got a ball, there may be a little bit more surface area to cover, so you could kind of go up and down, move it a little bit up and down, move it a little bit up and down until you get the whole area. On the foam roller, it should cover a pretty good area, just simply moving up and down, but you could do the same thing where you lean back a little bit or lean forward a little bit to cover the whole area. As far as pressure, I can create more pressure by removing a hand and using my legs, for example, or light touch with the fingers rather than bringing more weight onto my hand. So and the other way around, if I wanted to have less pressure, I can hold myself up a little bit with my other arm, and then I'm gonna feel less sensation at those points. Again, where you find those points, those trigger points, stop, breathe, deep breaths. and then you can keep moving again. So we're just gonna give it a couple more breaths here. And then let's release. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and get to the armpit. Now I know this area can be sensitive, so be gentle with yourself to start. You can always go in with more pressure if you want. So you're gonna place your tool underneath the armpit, and then you can just slowly lower yourself down over it. So take a breath here. Shoulders should be pretty stacked, and then you can just lightly move. If I wanted to create more sensation, I can always relax my hand away. A little bit harder to move there, but I will have more pressure. I could also even lift my hips up a little bit, and that's gonna also create more pressure. Same thing, I could switch this out for a tennis ball, or you could even use a bigger ball in this area. Something like a soccer ball will also work. And you could do the rolling weight forward and back as well. And then you could always move it down an inch and do the same thing. And you're gonna find those points, stop, breathe into it. And if you can't breathe, it may be that it's just too much for today. You can come off of it, do a little stretching, and then come back to your trigger point release when you're ready. I'll just give it a couple more breaths in this area. And if you need more time, if I'm moving too quickly, you can always stop the video, pause, and then start it up again when you're ready to move on. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna come on up and let's investigate this area through here. So the chest, the pecs, and up around the shoulder itself. So again, you could use a ball or you could use your foam roller. Now the nice thing with the ball is that you could even use it sitting or standing upright along the chest. I can use my hand, press my hand into the ball to create the appropriate amount of pressure, and then I can roll it around just like that. It's a nice way to massage out that area and a great way to kind of find where those knots are that you may need to spend a little bit more time with. So if you're ready to go on the ground, again, you can use your ball. You're just gonna lay over the ball, and you can wiggle around from here, up and down, right, left. You could even do little circles. If you've got your foam roller, you'll wanna put your foam roller at a bit of an angle. So rather than being straight like this or like this, it's gonna go at a little bit of a diagonal. And then again, you're gonna lay over it. It's gonna come under the chest, and then you can roll into it. Create the right amount of pressure. Where you find those knots, stop and breathe. And if you're not able to target all the areas that you want to target with your foam roller, that's where going in with a ball or a tool like this can be useful. So if you're rolling around on your foam roller and either you feel like there's a spot you're not getting that you want to get to, you can sit up and then get into it. Or you might find on the foam roller that you're just not getting that right amount of pressure on that spot. This can really target it, or same, likewise, you can use the ball to really target that spot.